We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this.
And what this is from Hank's sauce. We have a shark or a fish or something here. We have Hank's Heat Hot Sauce. So Hank's is another one, like Gindo's, that he likes to use these really large bottles. This one they're calling 8 ounces. You can see there is something swimming around in there. Lots of little bits of what looks like garlic. There is basil in the mix here as well, so I'm guessing that is probably what those darker items are. But let's see if we can pull in this panel here. So we start with Hank's Base, which is basically just a Louisiana style sauce. So just aged peppers, probably cayenne, and the vinegar and so on. We also have wine, garlic, habaneros, and basil. So I am not loving this label. This is really not an easy thing to read here. Sea Isle City, is that what? I don't know. Over in the East Coast somewhere it looks like. So this one you can see with the addition of garlic and some of the other stuff. This one to me paints itself much more as a Cajun style sauce than anything else. A little bit of habaneros in there for heat, a little bit of garlic in there for some added flavor and possibly texture. The basil is kind of an interesting thing, but this is, I think, at heart, essentially just a Cajun style sauce. So you can see it is very runny indeed. And we have the coloration. This is the same color Cajun styles almost always are. This orange sauce, I think I overfilled this spoon a touch. This orange sauce tinting towards red just a touch in the center. This is very garlic forward. I can definitely smell the garlic here. Got a good vinegar and garlic is what I can smell now. I don't have to bring this spoon any closer to my face. I can smell this now. So, all right, let's get on into this. Heavy garlic, but it's nice. Then there's a back kernel Louisiana style sauce behind it. Modified, you can taste a bit of the habaneros reading through there, which is nice. I'm not really getting any basil, but I find with herbs too, when I'm cooking with them, they can get pulled under by stronger flavors. Really reads more as garlic, but it's a quality garlic. We're not dealing with a concentrate here. We're dealing with actual garlic, and that really shines through. This flavor of this is just excellent as far as for a Cajun style sauce. So no displeasure there. Cajun is not usually one of my favorite styles. I almost always prefer to have a good cayenne sauce. This one is kind of like that better than El Cajun sauce. That I said that was the best Cajun sauce I've ever had. I would put this neck and neck with that one. I don't necessarily always like garlic on everything, but you know, the Louisiana style sauce is kind of more where I lean towards. But when something is well done, as that better than El and this sauce are, I have no problems at all with that. So excellent sauce here. I can't say anything other than I'm really pleased with this so far. Heat, even with the habaneros though, definitely follows on the Cajun Louisiana style. It is pretty minimal. I, in fact, have a real slight tongue tickling, but nothing else. But we will be testing that out, the heat side of it. Much more coming up. Because today, we have this. So what is this? This is from Kroger. It is, so they started doing these, at least in the store by me, these shaved meats. This is a shaved buffalo style chicken. And I thought, you know, I really haven't done any kind of cooking video for a while. A lot of my stuff is, you're seeing stuff that's already ready and ready to go. So I thought I would kind of show you this because these shaved meats, with all the changes that happened last year, I really modified my approach to food and a lot of other things. And this has been a really, these have been a really fun thing to have around. This is 14 ounces. It's not quite a pound. And it's shaved. It's got their buffalo flavoring on, which actually, what is even in this? I think it's probably just, just cayenne. It's just cayenne. And a bunch of other stuff is in there as well. So, I don't like this flavoring by itself. It is not particularly strong though. So, what I usually do is I will get a bottle, and that's where I'll be using this one. I'll get a bottle of a nice cayenne, Schlotzsky's. If you guys have seen that video, I did that one with this as well. And I'll re-sauce the meat once it's cooked up. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so first things first, what I do is I get the pan, and this one is one of the no-stick things that I saw on TV. So, and I understand from a lot of people you don't have to do this. You don't necessarily, maybe you want to spray oil on there, but I like to do that. So I'm just doing it the way I always do it. So then I will throw it on. I'm throwing on the heat to about 6 right now, because I want it hot to fry, but I don't want it so hot that it scorches, if that makes sense. You overcook chicken, it can get a little bit dried out. I am saucing it anyway, but it also gets a bit hard to digest. So I want to kind of find a nice balance, making sure it's cooked thoroughly, but I also don't want to burn. So we're going to let this heat up, and then we're going to start adding our chicken. So one of the reasons I put oil in here is it will start to give me a good feel as to when this is getting hot enough to throw things in. Well, while we're waiting for that, which shouldn't be much longer, let's take our knife here and there we go. All right, let's cut that, get that out of the way so we can see what we're doing. I don't usually do this on camera, so you can see we're starting to get the oil. You can see it there. It's collecting into droplets rather than just being a spray. So that means it's getting pretty close to being ready to throw in here. And if you look, you can start to see it start to bubble up a little bit. So this isn't not anything too crazy here. What I do is I get tongs and just take some of this, throw it in. I try to break it up a little bit when I'm doing this. Ideally, you won't have these big clumps in here. So we want to just kind of throw little bits in there at a time. Use that whole pan surface. And if you get the temperature right, it will cook fairly quickly. So you can see we got some clumping together here, so I'm just going to kind of take my tongs and toss this a little bit. This is about as much as I put in. I'm going to throw just a tad more in now. There we go. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to separate some of this here. And I think the idea is, this is, I think, supposed to be used for sandwiches, I think is what they had in mind for this, but I really don't eat a lot of bread. So I don't actually have any on hand. So, alright, we're going to let this cook for a second. I keep tossing it throughout. And we'll just keep adding it till this is gone. And we'll come back and take a look at it. Okay, we're just getting ready to throw the last little bit in here. See, not much left in here at all now. Okay. I'm going to try to flatten this out just a touch here. So all we're really going to be doing here, so I don't, it would be easier to eat this if I didn't break this up. So I'm not breaking it up because it's easier to eat. I'm breaking it up because it cooks better. And I don't like undercooked chicken at all. So I always try to take real pains to make sure that I'm not doing that. You can see it's starting to whiten out right a bit here at the edges. So I'm going to let this go for a second here, flip it over, and I'm just going to keep giving this a toss until it's done. And then we will get to the fun part, which is eating it. And voila, you can see it before us, this nice steaming plate of shaved chicken. Now, if you had some, say, a nice cream sauce that you liked, you could make yourself a really good buffalo chicken sub sandwich with this, as long as you sauced the meat prior to doing that. I'll be honest, I'm going to have some of this just for purposes of this video. I don't like this flavoring by itself. It's not very good. It's vaguely buffalo, vaguely, the cayenne sauce, but there's not that much of it there, and what is there is honestly just not very good. So, a little palate cleanser. Mountain Dew, 0 sugar. Alright. So, this is where stumbling on this at the store, I'm telling you, was just great. It's relatively low fat, no carbs to speak of. What fat was there should have been cooked out. That's why I try to use a little bit higher heat. And so we'll throw on, I love these big bottles. Gives me plenty. You can see we're about, see that? We're about the halfway mark now. I really don't like these labels though. Just gonna be honest. This label on this bottle I don't care for. I really find it frustrating. And here's the thing, right? If you're looking for stuff because you have food intolerances or allergies, the more things you can get in the way of people finding out the information, the worse. That's bad. It's a bad thing. So, we'll mix it up. No. That's good. The garlic reading through. Here's one of those little flecks of, here's what it looks like. As you can see, gotta do it the other way. It's got a bit of green. That is the basil, I believe. Having it directly, I can get a little hint of it, but really, vinegar, garlic, and the undercurrent of what I'm presuming to be cayenne. Kind of the big three flavors here. I don't know what wine was used in this. I get little grace notes of habanero. But mostly it's the other three flavors I mentioned. I mean, this fits really well into a low carb, no carb diet. Not that I'm necessarily doing that. And vinegar can do a good job of altering the glycemic index. So the potential is there to maybe have just a tad bit of, if you like a ranch or you like a blue cheese. If you're into bodybuilding, good way to get your protein. I believe this is right around 100 grams of protein just by itself. If you're into the bodybuilding thing, that lean chicken plays a pretty big role in things. For most people, anyway. That was excellent. I wish I wish I would have got like a nice bolillo roll or hoagie. Something along those lines. Just so that then I would have had to get the dressing too, but that would have been an outstanding sandwich. But I wanted to show you what I usually do. And that is it. So even after whipping through all that, I really don't have much of a mouth burn. If this was a snack, I would probably call it a default one. I do. It's a very low level, but definitely I've got a pretty full mouth. Very, very low sort of warmth. It's pleasant. It's just kind of like a, maybe if you had like a hot beverage, something like that, just a bit of warmth. It's not certainly not very blazing. So the habaneros, while they are in there probably for heat more than anything else, it really is not a prominent heat. Like I said, most Louisiana style, most Cajun sauces, the point is not to have something that is going to just fry you. And despite this being called Hank's heat, there really is precious little heat. I don't see any heat rating on here. But this is a sauce that it looks like they are. There's a dinosaur on here. So I guess if you eat dinosaur, there you go. But Cajun sauce you can use. I mean, it's one of the more flexible sauces for sure. Just like for me, Louisiana style really is also. So this is very flexible. Flavor is excellent. A very, very enjoyable sauce all around. But yeah, I mean, first sauce I've had from Hank Sauce, and I can't say that I'm anything other than well pleased with it. So flavor is excellent. Like I said, heat is very moderate, but definitely if you haven't tried them out before, it is seriously worth a go if you like Cajun or Louisiana style sauces. So this was my entry point into them. I have a few others that'll be coming up in the near future. So keep an eye out for them. But for now, this is the Hank's Heat Hot Sauce.
Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.